on day 3 and New Zealand trailed by 116 runs in the final of the inaugural edition of the World Test Championship. Joining me is Dinesh Karthik. We've seen such fantastic cricket these past 2 days. Have you enjoyed every moment of it?
Thoroughly. It's been a riveting day's cricket. Freddie Weil, our analyst, was saying that today, in this century, this is the slowest ever day at 2.27 runs per over. But I tell you, this has been a fabulous day's cricket. The ebbs and flows. New Zealand came with their plans, bowled beautifully, troubled India, and then the batters, they did a proper job. Great day's test cricket. And the good part is the weather held up.
It's a match that's worthy to be a final of an inaugural edition of the World Test Championship. It's pretty even Stevens at the moment, and there's pretty exciting action to come.
Oh, yes. Just the way we have been able to come back from adversity, I think we've again pushed into a situation where it could be tough for us. They're 100 for 2. The good thing is Devon Conway got out. So that's a positive for us. At the end of the day, if the scoreboard was 100 for 1, it'll look a lot different. But 100 for 2, one batsman on 12, another batsman just walking in. If we can get a couple of wickets tomorrow, if India can get a couple of wickets tomorrow, it'll be really good.
Awesome. And you talk about Devon Conway, the 3 times that we've seen him in Test cricket, he's impressed each time. What did you have to say about that 50?
Solid. That's the word for him. Proper solid. He just plays within a small box that, it's called box cricket, where you just, have an imaginary box and try to keep playing that. Don't let your bat go out much within your eye line and within your body. He's done that really well. He has all the makings to be somebody very, very special for New Zealand.
And he had the support of Tom Latham, somebody who quietly goes about his business but was out there for over 100 deliveries today. What makes him so successful?
Oh, again, somebody who's a very good back foot player, Tom Latham. I think the good thing about him is he doesn't do much on the front foot. He waits for the real full ball to drive. So then what happens is you end up leaving a lot of balls, which is very important in England. So that's really helped him. His style of play has helped him do well. A good player of cut and pull. In England, that's a good thing. So then you won't drive the ball, which does mean you don't get too many outside edges. The one ball that he did try to drive against Ashwin got caught. But I think he'd be disappointed with the shot. But he played really well till the time he lasted.
2.5 days after this final match has started, we finally saw an over of spin. How excited were you to see Ravichandran Ashwin and Ravindra Jadeja out there? How much do you think they're going to impact this game given the conditions?
Look, I think the spinner doesn't have too much in the wicket right now. If the game keeps going on, probably with a lot more overs, we're talking about 60, 80 overs with a lot more scruff marks. And one more inning, if New Zealand comes and bowls, they have 2 left-armers. So when a left-armer bowls, he'll create a nice little rough for R. Ashwin and Jadeja. So that will make things very interesting for the spinner. In the first innings, I think it'll be a lot more holding. They just need to, keep things tight, make sure they're giving enough rest to the fast bowlers. In the bargain, if they think cleverly and the batsman makes a mistake, just like Tom Latham did, you'll get a catch. But for the moment, it's a holding job that they need to do, and they're doing it very well.
In the commentary box, we heard about BJ Watling's masterclass. He's playing his last test, the World Test Championship final. As a wicketkeeper, what has impressed you about him the most?
He's very solid in his basics. There's nothing flashy about him. He moves perfectly sideways, collects the ball beside the line. Is very much, how can I say this? He is probably at times boring as a keeper, but he does a job beautifully. He's very safe. He's able to, move enough to dive and take those balls. At the same time, there's not even a ball that he's dropped. He's made keeping look very easy. And that's always a sign of a very good keeper.
It's pretty neck and neck now. How do you see tomorrow playing out? What are your expectations?
The third day. Tomorrow is technically the 4th day, but tomorrow is the 3rd day in terms of play, because the first day's play got washed out. They call the 3rd day the moving day. So what that means is it's a very important day for both the teams. Tomorrow, irrespective of whether it moves for New Zealand or not, India has to get things moving. They've got to go back to the drawing board, think about what they've done today, what they can do better, just like New Zealand did, come back and deliver. And I'm sure they can do it.
Anything in particular you'd like to see either of these sides change in their approach to the game at this point?
Even though it sounds cliche, slightly fuller, I thought they left a lot more balls. And one thing, bowl bouncers. We have bowlers who can bowl over 140 clicks. Bowl bouncers. Don't think twice. The moment you bowl bouncers, it will create confusion in the batsmen. So if they think twice to come on the front foot and they're a little tentative, you have a chance of an edge going to slip. At this point of time, if I'm right, they probably bowl a handful of bouncers in about the 40 overs they bowl. We are definitely capable of bowling bouncers and pushing them on the back foot a little bit, which will make it harder to come on the front foot.
And finally, DK, the skies were significantly clearer today. Do you think that affected New Zealand's batting?
the skies.
Yes.
Maybe the last wicket, it was really dark by then, so maybe then Conway is the best person to answer that question. But the good thing was it's been even throughout. It's not like India had some great sunlight for them to bat. It was gloomy, dark, grey, typical English conditions. Both the teams have fought it out. I don't think it was any worse for New Zealand, probably the fag end of the day. But then look, the beautiful part is the umpires, they have a light meter, as soon as it hits a certain mark, which they decided on the first day, they will stick to it. The moment it drops to that point, the game is stopped. So both the teams will have very fair play, and I think it's a great rule, and it's very fair for both teams. It's the ultimate test, Sanjana.
Yes.
Both teams are fighting it out.
Awesome. Thank you so much for talking to us. It is the ultimate test, and we will see you for day 4 tomorrow morning, bright and sunny. We'll see you. Have a great night. It's been a long day of cricket, and at the end of it, India are playing their second innings. We wrap things up with India being 64 for the loss of 2 wickets. Joining me is Dinesh Karthik at the end of day's play. Tomorrow is the last day of the ultimate test. Which team do you see going into tomorrow happier?
Oh, most definitely New Zealand. I think they've had the upper hand, especially after the way they've played today. It's a very interesting game in the sense that the overall run rate has been pretty slow throughout the game, but still, all 3 results are possible tomorrow, which is what Test cricket is all about. At the end of the day, you want the last day to be interesting, and that's what both these teams have done.
We saw the pace really pick up once the wickets started falling this morning, but talking specifically about Kyle Jamieson and Tim Southee, they added over 50 runs to that New Zealand total. How important was that little contribution?
Very important, isn't it? That's about 25% of their team's total. So 20% actually. Also, the way they play, they took on the bowling. They didn't think twice. They realized that if they tried to hang in, they'll get that ball with their name on the ball, which would obviously not something they wanted to, wait. They wanted to take on the bowling, and that's what they did. Free mind, go after it. You get out, it's okay. But till the time you're there, make most use of this Indian bowling, and that's what they did.
And we saw some solid catches from the Indian fielding. Shami, Gill, Virat Kohli. Were you impressed with the way the boys were in the field?
Definitely. I think both teams fielded fabulously well. India, the catching, it's been under the scrutiny a little bit, the fielding, but this game, I think they've really upped their standards. Credit to R. Sridhar, the fielding coach. I think they've put in a lot of work after they've come to New Zealand. You can see on the field, they've done a really good job. They've held on to everything. Shubman's catch, Rohit's catch. I think the way they've fielded overall has been fabulous.
Rohit has come out to bat once again, and in both these innings that we've seen him in this game, he's looked comfortable even though the ball's been moving. What work has he specifically put in to work on that aspect?
I think even though it sounds a little silly, he's very settled in his personal life. He's made peace with the fact that it is okay. At times he would fail in Test cricket. I think that's given him the confidence to go and conquer any condition the way his technique is set out to be. Obviously, over a period of time, he's played such good white ball cricket that his confidence is sky high. He's somebody who's probably in the top players in the white ball format of world cricket. And that confidence is showing off on his Test cricket as well. The way he is defending late. When he was a lot younger, he used to drive at a lot of those and get caught at slip. That's something that he's really cut down. He's playing the ball late. His ability to allow the ball to come to him, play it under his eye line. He plays a lot between both his shoulders right here, something that we saw Kane Williamson do as well. So there's so many positives about Rohit's batting, which augurs very well for Indian cricket, especially Indian Test cricket when they travel abroad. Rohit has made 30s, and I know him. He's somebody who is going to be very disappointed with the fact that he couldn't convert. He prides himself on those big scores. Even when he bats in Test cricket, the runs that he's got 200, 180. So it'll be itching him a little bit inside.
All right. And tomorrow is the last day of the ultimate test, but still all 3 results are very, very plausible. Talking specifically from an India lens, where do you see them being comfortable enough to declare, if at all?
We got 98 overs of play tomorrow. I think in an ideal scenario, if they can bat 48 overs, get close to 200 runs, and that would give New Zealand 230 runs to score in 50 overs. Then it's up to New Zealand whether they have it in them to take up the chase. That would set it up beautifully. That's how I look. That's how I'm looking at this game and hoping that's how this game kind of moves in that direction.
DK, thank you so much. Wonderful insight. As always, we are gearing up for the last day, the ultimate day of the ultimate test, the World Test Championship final between India and New Zealand. We'll see you soon.